everyone, welcome to Stuff I Never Learned from a School Book. If you're looking at my ugly mug, must mean it's Monday night, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, 6 Mountain, 5 Pacific, for those people that have a trouble telling time. My name's Tom Springer. If you haven't met me before, welcome to the show. Every Monday night, we kind of do this wonderful thing that we come on and we talk, and I bring on a guest, and I'm not going to hesitate at all. I'm going to go ahead and bring in my next guest. And this woman is absolutely fantastic, and I'm going to let her tell you about herself. Words are hard right now. Leave me alone. It is Monday. It's probably going to happen all night. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and bring in Amy Schaefer. So, hello, Amy.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. So you'll see that comments already popping up. Hi, honey. That's my wife, by the way.
Hello.
I will let everybody know ahead of time. She's in the house. She sits in another room, and it's not because I haven't showered. It's simply because she watches the show from another room and lets me know if anything's going on with the internet or anything else. So she's on a delay, so you'll hear her laugh like 5 to 10 seconds after we say something. It's not a ghost. We're not haunted. It's just her laughing. Just be aware. And then right now you will hear loud pops and booms every once in a while because we have fireworks going on outside the house. So as I imagine everyone does. So just letting everyone know what's going on. But anyways, welcome. You already have people like Jamie whooping.
Jamie. Hey, girl.
I got a Facebook user. Hi, Facebook user. So this is kind of how it happens. Everyone rolls in and says hi to everybody. There's Bobby Thomas. He's actually on my team. I swear we'll get to you, Amy. I promise. But this is kind of how everything happens on the show. Okay. Really quick. Amy, so my wife is saying
hello. Hello, Nicole.
I'm assuming Joe's going to be on here at some point. Can someone let me know who the Facebook user is? Can you post out who you are? Unless that's Joe, and I just don't know that yet.
It might be.
It might be because Facebook user's yelling out.
I don't know.
I can see it when saying hi to everybody else. Trying to see if that's... Oh, yep, she said he's here. So, yep, that's got to be him floating around here somewhere. But anyways, welcome to the show. I'm so happy you're here. I'm glad we were able to get this set up. Our friend Jamie is actually going to be following you in 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yes.
So remember, Jamie, when you're on here, be kind, because if you harass her, you're next. So she can turn around right away and do this back to you. So fair warning. So anyways, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
No, this is great. I hunted you down quite a while ago, and we just had to kind of sync times and days to get you in here.
Right.
So if you would, please introduce yourself and kind of tell everybody what you do.
Okay, well, my name is Amy, and I am a paranormal investigator. It's kind of like just more like a hobby for me, something that I really enjoy. Been doing that professionally since 2020, but I've had experiences all my life. And then once I kind of like found my calling in a way, I kind of figured out what it was called, that I was an empathic medium.
Okay.
And once I started really developing some of those skills with the helps of people, it started coming like nonstop. And I had to learn how to, guard myself and be able to turn it on and shut it off and sort of stuff.
I tell people that that's kind of how I was too, because we kind of talked behind the scenes here that mine came on really fast. And I tell people, for me, it was like drinking from a fire hose. It's just kind of it was like, oh, I can't take it all in at once. So Jamie is wanting to let you know if she was going to harass you, then she would just text you. So just so you're aware, when I do post the messages up on the board, and this is kind of for the audience as well, I do read them out loud, because I do know that I have some people who watch the show that don't watch us immediately. They may have headphones in, they're doing housework, whatever else. So when I post the comments, I read them out so they actually can hear the comments as well. Unless it's just people like William, hello Nighthawk, just saying hi or whatever else. I'll just throw that up there and say hi. But if it's questions or anything else, you'll hear me read them out. So okay. So I'm going to ask you the question I ask everybody. I was nice enough to prep you for this one, but I know you're recent with this. But what was it? How did you start? When did you start? And what was it that made you go, "Hey, maybe I have something. This is interesting. I'm starting to feel, see, hear things."
Okay, well, actually, when I was younger, like about 10 or so, maybe 9, I've talked about the story on another podcast, so I'm sorry that, people's watched me before knows about this. But
Screw them. I'm
I,
the host. I don't know.
yes, I remember my room that I was in was really odd. And one night there was 3, they just looked like women figures, shadow figures at the end of my bed. And it looked like, and they were like arm in arm, and they're like holding up these lanterns, and it sounded like they were chanting or singing. I didn't feel like I was going to be harmed or any way, but of course it scared me because I had no idea what that was all about.
Right.
And after that, I would see shadows, I would hear things. And when I would tell my mom would be like, "Oh, it's probably just me doing the dishes downstairs, making noise, nothing like that." And I'm like,
Right.
"Well, you don't do that stuff at 2:00 in the morning." And then to come to find out later that my great grandparents bought that house that I grew up in. So it kind of stayed in the family. So it's a very old house. And I found out that house was used as the parlor, the wake for when people passed away
Right.
back then. And there was one room designated to that.
Correct.
And that was my parents' room, from what my mom had told me. So, and my room was directly above that room. So that would make sense. So I would always hear things, see things. I, was kind of like, what the heck is going on? I thought I was going crazy. And so I just had a hard time being alone in my own house because I was like, what the heck? Like, what's this? It's an old house. It's good. That's one thing my dad would always say, it's an old house. It makes noises. Yeah, well, sometimes it's not always these noises. Right. And then later on, my mom did confess that she really thinks that there's something going on in the house. So, whether if my grandparents, I'm sure my grandparents are there hanging out,
Yeah.
I know for a fact that's probably one house I never really went to investigate. I know that
I was going to ask
sounds
about that.
Weird. I don't know. I never thought about ever investigating my own house. So I know I've got stuff here in this house, and I have in a way investigated, but not in the sense of what you would think of a normal investigation.
Right.
More in the sense of trying to figure out what kind of energy this is that's in the house, but not because I really don't want to know everything that's in the house. Because I feel every house, I don't care if it's 2 months old or 300 years old, 400 years old, every house is going to have some kind of energy or spirit or something in it. It could be just passing through. There could be something about the land, the area, the history. There's always something. But so that's kind of how I grew up. And then over the years, I just knew that, and I would walk into a new house and I could feel it. I'd be like, what in the heck? And we talking to a friend, I'm like, who else is in here with us? Oh, it's just us. And I'm like, well, it does not feel that way.
Right.
So then, yeah.
So William's asking, he goes, for you, he said, do you think shadow people are coming to us by several different ways, like interdimensional or spirit realms, etc.? Or
that's a good question. That's a good question, because when I see shadows at a location, even, I don't know if it's a human not really wanting to show themselves. So that's how they show their energy. I think, then you have your orbs. That's how that person's showing their energy. I think if they want to be kind of seen, but don't want to be recognized, that could be a way that they're presenting themselves. It's for me, I'm, definitely not an expert at any of this. I mean, everybody has their own opinions about, shadow people, creepers,
Right.
light people, apparitions and what they all mean. Some people think, is it residual? Is it intelligent? Is it just a residual of somebody just walking across? Is that what the shadow is?
Right.
So I see shadows a lot. So for me, I think of shadows probably as more of maybe residual than intelligent. Because it could be just a shadow of a person. Their energy is still present. I don't know.
Yeah, that's Jamie saying that would explain how many things are categorized as shadow people due to shade. And she also says she doesn't, for Nighthawk, she thinks they are because they do not require energy to manifest. So I have, let's throw a little wrench into this whole thought process. Hold on, I gotta sit up for this one. Let's get ready. So, I have a question about shadow people, and this is going to be to everyone out there, especially to you since you're my guest. So you're going to get first. But I know William's going to be like, Tom, stop making waves. My show, screw you. What are the thought processes of shadow people not actually being human at one point? They're just beings that are just shadow people.
Yes. That is another thought, that it is not human, and it can be, trying to think how to say this, like it could be somebody manifested this shadow person.
Okay.
Maybe somebody's had a lot of trauma, negative thoughts, and somehow it's not like a poltergeist or anything, but like somebody had imagined this shadow to come to life, essentially.
Right.
It could be also, I'm thinking of, I don't really want to say a soul, but maybe somebody that's lost.
Okay.
In that different realm, whether, if you believe in purgatory or not.
Yep.
I do believe in purgatory.
The waiting area.
The waiting area. That's how I just view it.
So Jamie's saying, yay. So I guess I must have triggered one of her thought processes. I have encountered shadow people. They never were human. They are watchmen.
That's a good way to think about it.
Yep. And then I believe our Facebook user it's got to be Joe, because that's the only name I don't see on here. I don't believe that they need to manifest. It's possible that shadow people are overlapping realms. Like we pick up the frequency because it's closer to our own. Our eyes perceive them as shadow people. So they just haven't fully developed into our realm yet. They're crossing realms or whatever else. So that's why we're just seeing the shadow of them.
Yeah, and that's what I kind of meant, like being lost.
Yeah.
Because they, don't know where they need to go. And I think sometimes, and that's kind of like why I kind of say about purgatory is, I think a lot of it as when you grow up, how did you grow up?
Mm-hmm.
Did you grow up in a spiritual home? Did you grow up Catholic? Did you grow up Lutheran? Did you grow up an atheist? Did you grow, depends on how you grew up, what church you're in, what spirituality in, what your beliefs are. I think that sometimes those beliefs, when you pass away, that's where you'll go.
Right.
But nobody really knows. Yeah. So maybe people are in purgatory because that's where they think they need to be. Some people are lost because they don't know where they're supposed to go. And so they just kind of walk around with no purpose.
And so when I mentioned the waiting room, because I've also heard the theory
Yeah.
that perhaps it is someone who, if because of the reincarnation thing or going on to your next life, this is the person that is walking through to go to their next life.
Right.
And so they're still in that shadow realm to where they haven't quite moved
Right.
on to that next one. Yes. So I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt you really quick.
Okay.
I always say hi to Ajang. I always stop everybody.
Hi.
Hi, Ajang. Ajang visits us from Indonesia, so I always stop.
Awesome. Hello.
She's really the only person I stop a show for, but I always want to show her love, let her know that she's appreciated she's here. So I always say hi to her. I don't think she's missed a show. So
Awesome.
But yeah, I mean so Joe showing up, it can get complicated because we're seeing their whole dimension, like animals, people, trees, rocks, anything with life. And then Jamie right back with the ones I have been in contact with were well aware of our existence. So they're just kind of, I mean, they know we're here. We see them coming through. Yeah. It's just kind of a blur. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of interesting theories on the shadow realms and the shadow people and how it works.
Yeah. Because then you have, like I said, you've got residual,
right?
So, is some of these shadow people also part of residual energy that's coming through?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's, like I said, there's so many different thought processes on it. I believe that people can project themselves to look like shadow people, but I do not believe, this is only Tom Springer's belief, I do not believe shadow people have ever been human. But I think that spirits can project themselves to look like shadow people, based off of if they're trying to scare us, or if they just want to be known, but they can't fully make themselves seen, the dimensionals, whatever else. But I really think that the actual shadow person themselves has never been a real human being. That's my take on it. So
yeah, that's why I call creepers in a way. Because they definitely have never been human. Mm-hmm. And I don't think of them as a positive energy.
Right.
They might not necessarily be evil. They're just creepy. And I've only ever really seen one of them. And that was a feeling I did not like.
Yeah. Gave you that offset, different than what you see, different what you see
when
you see the shadow.
I did not like that feeling. Yep. And I'm like, okay, I'm not coming back here to this area.
So I'm back in messages. Sorry guys, you guys are typing again because this conversation, these people type so fast. So Joe's, yep, like our Realmwalkers are aware of them. Their Realmwalkers are aware of us. Those are the ones who do it personally, maybe just a theory. But yeah, that's what we're talking about. Maybe they just pop in and see that we're here, know that we're here, know that we recognize them, and so forth. And it may be a way for them to communicate. That's just how they do it. Yeah. It's just by letting us see them, because they really can't contact or communicate with us as a standard, what we would call a standard spirit does. So
and I think too that I look at it this way: our souls are living the human experience.
Okay.
This is our human experience. And so I can understand a little bit what Joe is saying, because then when we pass, is our soul completed? Did our soul finish what it was supposed to do on Earth, mm-hmm. in our human form? So if we're done, I would like to say we're going to cross over then and go to heaven.
Right.
That's my theory. But if you still have more purpose, if your soul is still meant to do something else, then are you in purgatory and you go on to your next adventure, wherever that adventure you're meant to do? Or do you go to heaven and wait? But I think once you get to heaven, you're in heaven, your soul's complete.
Right.
But I think if your soul's not complete, you're just still lingering, waiting for whatever your next purpose that you're supposed to be doing. Um, and that's where you kind of wait. And that's, maybe, a little bit, maybe is that what shadow people's doing, waiting for their next purpose in life, what they're supposed to be doing.
So
I don't know.
another side swing here. So let's take that thought process and say, okay, I haven't completely finished my mission, so I'm now a shadow person waiting to continue to where I can become whole and move on to heaven. Does that next mission necessarily have to be on Earth?
Maybe not. I don't know.
Is it something that the universe has decided that there's so many parts of your soul in so many different locations in the universe that you have to complete a process in each one of them to actually make your soul whole in order to move on? So that's that just instantly popped into my head. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's a very good theory.
I don't know why that jumped into there, but welcome to my world, people. This mind does not work right.
And in a way, that's why I say human experience. Our
Right.
soul right now is living the human experience.
Right.
Does our soul ever live an alien experience? Does our soul ever do a natural, like an animal or a tree? I have no idea.
Right.
It's like,
So,
we won't know any of this until we cross over. And I know there's a lot of paranormal investigators like, man, when I die and cross over or whatever, they're, whatever they believe, they're going to be like, I'm going to do this so I can tell you guys. And,
right. I got to be able to tell you guys somehow. So I'm going to go through.
I'll get a message to you.
I'm going to go through some of these comments. Yeah, well, they send us messages. We don't understand them. Speak English, people. So I'm going to start back up here with William, because he's asking, what about shadow people being the negative of people in our world? So is that the negative side of the person that's coming through?
That thought has crossed my mind, but
Yeah.
I have been in a room where there's been shadows that I have not felt a negative presence.
Okay.
Like I said, I go by feelings and how I feel.
Yep.
So I don't always have a negative presence with all of them. Sometimes I feel like a childlike presence, or a scared presence, or shy, whatever they decide to show me on how they're feeling.
Right.
My very first contact with my empathic abilities, actually Jamie witnessed it. I'm trying to think how long. I don't know, how long ago was that, Jamie? Like over a year ago, when my first real strong empathic thing came about. It was a woman. We were investigating this house, and it was a woman who died by suicide in that basement. And so she was coming across to me, and she threw at me every feeling she had at that moment she died.
Oh, geez.
And it hit me so strong. I think it took me 2 or 3 hours to recover from it. It really, I went into full-blown panic attack. And I knew I had felt stuff before. And I could feel stuff in rooms. And I can, of course, the guy that introduced me into the paranormal world at that time thought I was just nuts. I was losing my mind, that I didn't know anything, that I was just trying to not cuss here, but
Hold on. There you go. Go ahead. You're all good.
He thought that I was a crock of shit, pretty much. So, but I'm just telling him, going, he's like, oh, you're just a scaredy cat. I just made you scared, and I did that. I, intimidated you. And I'm like, no.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, I can feel these things. I can feel them. Like, what am I feeling? I could not figure it out.
Right.
And then when that hit me in that basement, you probably remember that, don't you, Jamie? Because I had called her, and I'm like, what do I do? I can't get this to stop.
Oh goodness.
So she brought her spirit guides out because I was like a mess
Like,
and I
look.
could not get mine to come down because I'm like, oh my God.
You're like, let's see what she does.
Yeah. And then I just, she did her thing. I got out of the situation. All of a sudden, things just totally calmed down. So whatever
Yeah.
she did work, because I know you're not going to believe this, but I went back down there.
Oh, geez.
And it was a total different atmosphere, totally
Yeah.
different. And
Yeah.
I've been to that house since, one other time since then. And I'll tell you what, it was definitely different because she recognized me, and it was almost like she kind of backed off and she was like, I'm sorry, I won't do that again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because she recognized exactly what I was able to do. And it was
Right.
almost like, oh my gosh, somebody can feel me. Somebody can
Right.
feel me. This is really how
I'm sharing this with you. Yep.
I was like, wait, too much.
Yeah. Yeah. Then she says, told you it was legit. Stop doubting yourself. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So Jamie did mention, this is kind of going back a couple of conversations, but she did mention when she sees them, they have accompanied negative entities, not as a friend, but literally as a watchman, and they communicate telepathically. And then when we were talking about maybe it's because you're moving around and you're just getting pieces of your soul that kind of go from different places you've been. She said, yeah, Earth is my 5th location. And I think because I had that process and I said, I don't know where this came from. I think this is where this came from, where she says that's because I'm a starseed. Yeah. I'm Arcturian. We figured that one out. Well, at least right now I'm an Arcturian. That's where I was. So I think that's what that conversation was. And she says, back to the lady, she says she had probably been yelling forever unheard. So you just happened to be in that line of fire.
Exactly.
You heard her, and it was like, someone can hear you. Yay. So,
because I remember her trying to tell them I didn't mean to. Tell them I'm sorry. Come talk to me. And that's what I was trying to tell the owner of the house. And I almost felt like they blew me off about it. And I don't know whether they ever happened or not. But that's what she was telling me. She's like, tell them to come back. I'm sorry. It was almost like she was telling me she really didn't mean to do it. Even though she was trying to, she really didn't want to. So the owner of the house, it was his ex-wife.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. How does the owner tie in that's where they're like, why do we know each other?
Yeah, it was recent. I mean, like within the last, I don't know, 5 years maybe that it happened. I'm not 100% sure how long ago, but it wasn't like a long time ago.
Right.
I don't know the complete story. All I know is that, they had divorced, and I'm not sure how she ended up staying in the house, but she asked him if she could stay there for a little bit. I don't know if it was in between moves or what was going on. And she was down there hoping that he would see her. So I don't think she meant to do it. I think she was just crying for help and she wanted him back. I don't know, but it just felt like she definitely did not want to do it.
Okay. I have to ask this question.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden it just started going nuts with me. The house you're in now, there are spirits there.
In my house?
Yes.
I know of 2.
Okay.
But I know at times things come and go.
Okay.
But the one I have, I call him my protector.
He's the one
I don't know.
He's the one that's above you now, over your shoulder, up on the ceiling. Just curious. Just curious.
You see him?
Yes. That's why I'm asking, because
is he wearing his like hooded
he's like, it's almost like he's sitting up there, he's like watching you, and he's just like, this is kind of cool, this is interesting. But he's like very intuitive,
yeah,
and
I know.
watching you, and like he's almost like I don't know that guy. I mean, almost like that kind of protection type thing, but he's like, all right.
He's definitely very protective of me because he knows of what I've been through in life.
Okay.
And I don't know exactly who he is or I don't know if I'm related to him, if he's a friend, if he's like a guardian angel. I have no idea. but that's who I think that I saw in my room that one night.
Okay.
That was so shocking. He just was like, and I don't know if this is how you see him, but he was like a thin guy.
Yep.
And he was wearing, the only thing I can describe, you know, those like Mexican blankets you get from Cancun?
Right.
It was that type of material with like a hood on. But he didn't have the hood on, but it was just kind of like, but that's what he was wearing.
Okay.
And when he kind of turned to me, I did not see his face. It was kind of, but it happened so quickly
Yeah.
that it took me a second to process. And then I was like, look, watching him for a second. He was straightening out my covers. That's how I woke up, because I felt something tugging on my covers. And at first I thought it was my cat. So I'm like, oh my gosh, cat, stop. And I'm like, okay, my cat's over here. And so I am like going, what the heck? And I kind of woke up and he was straightening out my covers, because I can't stand to have my covers all a mess. They have to be all straightened out. So he was straightening out my covers, and I think he's laughing at me. So
yeah, he's definitely right up there. He's letting me know he's up there watching, and he finds this all really entertaining. That's why I was asking, because I saw the movement, and I don't know if anyone else could see that. Hello, but I was watching it. I can see your light fixture, and it's just to the side of your light fixture, kind of where that open light is, and I can see the darkness come and go from right there. And I was like, oh, well, that. Hi.
Yeah, he doesn't come down here very often. All I'm going to say is that, yeah, he's very protective of me. And the two guys that I have dated that have been here, they have let me, and definitely have let them know, that he does not like them.
Oh, nice.
I don't want to get into details.
Well, you don't have to. Yes.
But the last one, I knew it. Once that event happened, I was like, oh, okay. Because that's when I really was like, yeah. I was like, okay, something's good. I just knew something was going to happen. Something did. And I'm like, so.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, Jamie. It just popped right out at me. He just popped right out to me to kind of let me know that he was there, and that he let me know that I knew that he knew. Whoa. Yeah. That conversation really quick. So yeah, that's.
Yeah, I know. He's kind of sitting there going, yep.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
I've had a conversation with him about that, and I actually think it's kind of funny.
It is.
But and then I know of a little girl that's present, but I don't know where she fits in. I know for a fact that nobody has passed away in the house, but I don't know much about the property, about this area. Where I live, we have a lot of Amish. And so, of course, with Amish, there's sometimes, they do have tragic accidents that happens out here. We've had some of those. So whether if this little girl that had lived around here at some point in time, that, because I've heard her laugh. Right. I've heard her call my name before.
Have you seen her?
But I have not seen her, no.
Okay.
But I have felt her.
We'll have this discussion afterwards, because yes, I know what she looks like.
Okay.
So,
is she like early, I want to say teens, like pre-teen age?
10, 11-ish.
Yes.
Blonde.
Yes.
Definitely has that very plain look to her.
But it has a plain dress. Yes. Yeah. Very plain.
Yeah. She doesn't to me either, Jamie, but she's still that very, okay. She's still that very plain look. I want to kind of go early. I want to say like late 18, early 1900s type area from.
Yeah, she's very simple. She's very shy in a way. She's just very observant.
Straight blonde. Skinny, small. Yeah, young. Yes.
Like I said, I don't see them I can feel them, and sometimes they'll send me flashes
Okay.
of something, and so it's very quick. So it's very hard for me to get like a super great look at what they're showing me.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yep. So I'm going to go back up to a question.
Okay.
Now that we kind of sidetracked into this squirrel moment, we're going to come back for a second. My wife is asking, you talk about being an empath medium and how you feel the spirits. Do you also feel the living as strong? If so, do you feel dead and the living the same strength? Do you feel one stronger
That's
than
a
the other
very
one?
good
Or
question. It's a different vibe. So, like, I think of when I feel the spirits, it's an electrical feeling. It's like hot, cold, electric, spark. And depending on how strong that energy is, that's how they pass to me. Lost, sad, hurt, happy, scared, ticked off. But like with humans, I feel more of a positive, negative, happy, easygoing, light energy.
okay,
I don't feel electric energy. I don't feel that. I feel more, is it peaceful, non-peaceful?
okay,
It's kind of like when I think of it more as for the spirit realm getting shocked.
mm,
Is it because they take all your energy from you. And then with the human beings, it's like, are you like in a nice warm or cool shower? Or are
mm.
you in a nice, warm, bubbly bath? Are you in a
Right.
hot tub? Are you in a swimming pool? The different elements. Or are you out in the air in the cool breeze? Or are you around fire? That's kind of like how I think about it
Right.
with
But
humans.
that's a good explanation. That's how you're sensing the energies from
Yes.
one to the other. So that's
Yes.
good. So she has a follow on because my wife is just learning that she is an empath and she's learning how to deal with this. She is a high school math teacher. So she's around drama all the time because these kids are just
I
crazy.
bet.
And everything about them has to be drama for some stupid reason. So
Oh,
she's
yeah.
asking, what do you do to help block your empathic? Wow, slower in English, Tom. Reading is not your first language. Empathic abilities of the living when you are in groups.
It is very hard. I try and avoid big groups if possible. It
That
is
seems to be a
very,
very
very
common answer
hard.
to me. There's when I talk to a lot of the empaths, a lot of them say I try to avoid the groups, but
Yeah, I try and avoid
sometimes
big
you just
crowds.
can't get
But
through that.
I love music. I love being around music. So like when I go to a concert and I'm around large crowds, I focus on the band. I don't
Right.
focus on the people around me. I focus on the music and I absorb that music and not the energy of the people. So that's what I do there.
Okay.
But other than that, I avoid large
Yeah.
crowds.
Her
Yeah.
unfortunate is that she can't get around being around the groups because she's in class with these kids, and these kids. Um, the nicest way to say this: these kids' priorities suck. So the stuff they're having as drama should not really be drama. And the stuff that should be drama, like your grades absolutely sucking, um, should be the drama, but they
Yeah.
don't. They're like, whatever. I'll just clean it up by the end of the year. So, uh,
It's kind of like you need to pick your battles. You need to
right, yeah.
pick your
Um,
yeah.
so, Patricia. Oh, hi, Patricia. I didn't even see she jumped on here today. Patricia saying learning some new things today. Love the show. Music helps her too.
Yeah.
Jameson.
I always have music going on. Just because it does help with sometimes energy. If I've had a bad day at work, and I'm also a nurse. I work labor and
Oh,
delivery. That's my main
all
job.
right.
So yeah, so sometimes with the energy from that, or if I'm somewhere, I don't even like to go to the grocery store. I would rather order online and go pick it up. I hate going to the store, but I'm constantly having music playing because that really helps distract me.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure your wife has probably heard the term, when you're learning to do this, you want to observe and not absorb. And so that's what I just try and do. I just try and build that wall up and just observe it and
Right.
don't absorb it.
Yeah. It's weird because there's a lady that a girl that I used to work with in my office. She recently left, and she did not understand that she was an empath. And she did one of the, as far as I'm concerned, one of the hardest but yet noblest things that she could do in life. She sat with people who knew were going to pass away. So she was kind of like a comfort to them, to be with them as they were passing. And it would be like that night. They knew they were going to pass that night, so she would go sit with them so someone was with them when they passed. And her problem was she did not understand she was an empath. So she'd come in the next morning. She's like, I am exhausted. I'm so this, I'm so that. So I had to explain to her. She did not know I had these abilities. And so that was the first discussion we had to have. And then I am very good about putting energy into stones, bracelets, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
with the intent of what it needs to be done for. And I knew that she was going to go on another one that night for a lady. And I held on to a bracelet and I gave it in its intent. And I told her, I go, take this with you tonight and wear it. And she goes,
Yeah.
what's it going to do? I go, don't change anything you do. Just wear the bracelet and come back to me in the morning and tell me how you did. So the next morning she comes back and she was like, I don't know what you did. She said, but I went through everything just as I normally would. But I did not get the energy drain I normally have. And it's almost like I was a robot going through all my emotions, but I did not lose my emotions or take on their energy. How did you do that? So I had to tell her how I was able to give an intent to something that she can take with her. And now I had to teach her how she can give intent to stuff to take with her. So that's something she's actually using right now to deal with it.
Yeah.
I'm very happy she was able to learn that from me. I think it's harder for me to teach Nikki because she has to just learn her own style, because that's just something she has to deal with being in the kids.
Right.
But it was very cool that something like that was able to help.
Yeah, there are a couple of different things I will interchange wearing to help me not only with my abilities, but to help absorb some of that energy so it doesn't drain mine completely.
Right.
And it takes it. And so, yeah. And of course, I wear just different things. Like I've got one of the evil eye bracelets on
Right.
that help. And yeah, I think a lot of it depends on where I'm going, what place, what kind of energy it could have, will depend on what I wear.
Right.
And what equipment that I take.
And so that's something I noticed, which is weird because you talk about sometimes you wear different things and everything else. I don't wear anything except for I don't have it on now, of course, because I want to talk about it, but I normally wear a copper Celtic bracelet I have. I don't really wear anything else too much. But when I do, I always know that later on that day, somewhere down the road, I'm going to hand it off to somebody to use. I never use it for myself. I always know if I'm grabbing something, someone else has to use this. So it's kind of odd how that works.
That's one thing too I've always thought about is I sometimes will wear a few more necklaces for that reason. Because if I'm at a public hunt and somebody is getting overwhelmed with the energy and doesn't know what to do with it, there might be somebody that has abilities that don't know it, and all of a sudden they're going into this place not knowing what's going on, and something's getting attached to them. I'd be like, here, put this on. I'll kind of do a quick blessing and put it on for their
Yep.
protection.
Yep.
And, I've only had to do that once, but I've seen other people do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I try and make sure I wear extra just because I can help somebody else if I need to.
You share it out to give that energy.
Yeah. And before I always leave my house, I do like a little ritual or a little thing that I do at each door, like my patio door, the door out to my garage and my front entrance, just to protect myself, to protect my house. So nothing enters,
Right.
Even though I have already some here, there's nothing here that I've ever been frightened of. There's nothing negative in this house. And and then when I come back home, kind of like the same thing before I enter, I say a little prayer. And I have what a lot of people call witches' bells. But they're just signs of protection outside the doors, just to let other, spirits know that, hey, I mean business if you try and come in. I don't want anything negative in my house. So, and there are some places that I do have, black salt around and that sort of stuff. So
yeah, I'm terrible about doing that with our house. Our house has nothing. We have little bits of tourmaline scattered about, but that's just because I don't know how to keep it in my pocket very well. But yeah, I'm terrible about doing that, and I think it's because we're gonna go back to this. I think I'm convinced myself that I am for the most part untouchable because of my protection I have of myself. But I have to pay attention to my wife and that she needs her protection as well.
Yeah.
But I'm terrible about setting up the house. So I've noticed that. I'm horrible.
Well, I have a grandson that is almost 4 that I think that he is sensitive. I think he can see things. And what's different about this is that they're got a set of twin grand boys.
Okay.
And one, I'm almost sure he is, and the other one, I don't think he has any ability at all. At least he has not shown that he has. But just by some of the statements that he has made, and by how he wants a light on, or he has to have things a certain way, and I'm like, that reminds me of me when I was younger and I was starting to see things. So yeah, so that's another thing, is I just want to make sure this house is protected for them.
Right.
For me, I can handle it, but the rest of them, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then I know I have occasionally, there's another young woman that is here. My niece last year stayed with me for a while, and she had this best friend that came over, was here a lot. And about a couple of months after she moved out, she, this friend of hers, she tragically died. She was a victim of a hit and run. And I'm not going to, obviously go into details, but it was terrible. It's still, just thinking about it sometimes devastates me, and it's still really hard on my niece. But every once in a while, I can feel her presence. And sometimes when I talk to her, and I'm waiting for a light to blink, I know that sounds weird, but sometimes when I talk to her, especially, upstairs, when I feel her, the one light in one room will sometimes blink.
Right.
It's kind of like, yes, I do know you're here. She'll laugh at me, because we had she was really into crystals. And so she was always fascinated by like some of my altars and my crystals and all of that. So, but yeah, so sometimes when I am, like cleansing my crystals, or, taking them outside to have them recharge, or, whatever, I always think of her. And every once in a while I do feel her presence.
Well, so that was so I will let you know that you have been crystal clear this whole time. But when you started
Good.
talking about this, you actually froze up for a second, just as you were talking about her, and then it came right back again. So there you go.
Could have been her.
It wasn't a light. It was, but it was something letting us know that, yep, she was there. Because you have been crystal clear the whole time, but that one time you kind of had just a little hesitation on your screen, and it was enough that your voice drug long enough to let me go, yep, your internet froze for a second. So
that was probably her. She's always she'll mess with something, and it's electrical.
Yeah. Yep. So there you go. So I sitting here watching it live happen. I've been since you said it, I've been watching behind you to watch all the lights. I've been watching anything that looks like it could do anything, and then your network did that. I'm like, okay, well, there we go. So,
yeah.
So you've done investigations.
Yep.
Have you been to a place that was bad enough that you're just like, nope, not going back there. Nope, not doing that one.
The only one that I can say, okay, so was the West Virginia State Penitentiary. I enjoyed that place except for the Sugar Shack. If I don't know if you're familiar with that place or not.
I am. Yeah.
I felt like I was being poked and prodded from every corner of that room. And my boyfriend at the time was laughing at me because he thought I was just afraid of the dark.
Right.
And I'm like, no, you need to stay by me because you have no idea who's pulling on me.
Right.
He thought I was crazy. He thought that it was hilarious. And I'm sitting here like about ready to have a breakdown because no, I've got to get out of here because I had all these spirits coming at me from all over the place, laughing and mocking, and I could feel them. It was awful. And I'm like, no, we gotta go. We gotta go. And he,
right.
that was crazy. Yeah, so that was probably the only place that I really felt like I don't know if I would probably go back to that penitentiary, but I don't know if I'll ever go back downstairs or all the lights will have to be on, one or the other. I don't know.
So Jamie's asking, was that the one with the officer in the chair?
No, the officer in the chair, that was Blackford County Jail. That was in Hartford City. Yeah, her and I both had a unique experience with that. Yeah.
Well, you got to share it now. You got to share that now.
So Blackford County Jail in Hartford City is probably my favorite jail, one of my favorite places to go to. I've been there like 3 times now. And last time we were there, they actually had a street fair going on. So, of course, the energy in that place was a lot higher. So we were getting so much activity. And in the sheriff's office, they had the original desk. They had the original chair. It's not original. Of course, it got replaced. But at one point in time, there was a sheriff that was only sheriff for like 17 minutes, an hour, because he had a heart attack at that chair.
Oh, great.
And if I remember right, Jamie, you may have to like refresh my memory a little bit because I kind of think it was like, okay, tell me about this chair. And as soon as my hand touched the chair, she automatically was like it was like simultaneously at the same time we both felt it and knew it, and she knew exactly what had happened. So it was like awesome. It was just like so cool. Yeah, that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, that place is a crazy place. I love it. I just love it there. Yeah.
So I do want to. I haven't brought these up all day, and I feel bad. So let me get to a couple of these. So Amy is actually part of a couple of teams that she goes out and investigates with, and so on. So I want to throw these up so you guys can actually go out and check them out. So TSPI, Truth Seekers Paranormal Investigations, is the first one. There's their site right there, facebook.com/TSPI, Truth Seekers Paranormal Investigations. You can go out there, you can check that one out. So I actually went out to the Facebook site. This is how I had to pull all the information, so I know they're actually out there and they're real, and that they actually work. I'm not saying I'm not saying she's a liar. I'm just saying they actually work. If you go out to these sites, they actually work. The other one is the Ghosthunter Society of Fort Wayne. This one here is facebook.com/group/Ghosthunter Society of Fort Wayne. All is one word. It's the one that has the three ladies that are staring out at you. You're going to be like, wait, what? That's actually the right one. There's three ladies staring at you, so that's right. So go out there and check those out. See what the site's about. See what they have actually posted out there as well. I just kind of perused them really quick while I was talking to her, so I was able to check them out. Good place to go and check out and see what's going on. Excuse me.
Yes,
So,
I'm trying to think. I think the next place we're going to is Randolph Asylum. That's in Winchester. That's a 2-day investigation. It's kind of like one of those, we're going to have some teams on one night, some teams on another night, and because the place is huge. And then there's some people that are going to be there both nights. I haven't decided if I'm going one night or 2 nights, but I love that place there.
What group is that?
The people that are heading it up is PIT crew. I think it's a paranormal investigation team.
Yeah, paranormal investigation team. The pit crew.
Yeah. Yep. The pit crew, with Bonnie and Ralph. So they're heading up that investigation, and we work a lot with them. Okay. With Ghosthunter Society, we work a lot together, and which is good because equipment's expensive. So when you have all these different teams with different equipment, you can accomplish a lot.
Right now, do you guys do lives when you go on?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. They'll do lives. It'll interchange on who goes live, but they do.
Okay, so that's something else to look forward to. So if they go out and they start following you and they start following the sites, they'll be able to identify when you're going to be doing things so they can go out and watch you live. Yeah. So that's really cool.
And if, say, go on live right off of their page, they'll go off live on their individual page, and then they'll end up posting it on the group page. So that's what they do. Yeah. So, and I do want to give a shout out to a place here in Fort Wayne that's fairly new. It's the Bell Mansion, which is downtown Fort Wayne, with Angie Sturm and Nick. That crew, that team that helps run that, they are so phenomenal. And I heard somebody say it was the Ritz of the paranormal, and I would have to say that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
They are the best hosts I have ever come across, ever. And not only that place is very active. It is beautiful. It is clean. There's heat. There's everything you could possibly imagine. Right. There's beds to sleep in if you need to crash. Is well worth the money to go. And they have specials, and they actually are going to have a Bell Bazaar coming up. They have all kinds of activities. I think Jason Haas is going to be there at some point. They have all these people coming. It is a fabulous place to be.
Yeah, I've watched lately. I've seen a couple of advertisements for the Bell Mansion, so there must be a very strong up and coming.
Oh my gosh, yeah, they are, and they have on Saturdays. I think the last Sunday of the month. They actually have a paranormal 101 for kids, so kids can come out and learn how to use equipment and learn about the paranormal world and stuff like that. Very cool. And so I couldn't go last night, but Angie's always, if you want to come out and help. So one of these days I'm gonna be able to go out and help her. But if she ever calls me up and needs help with something, oh my gosh, I would love to do that because they're absolutely fabulous, and I love being there.
So Ajang has a question.
Okay.
I kind of want to answer this one too, but I'm gonna let you go first.
Okay.
Ajang is saying, Amy, sometimes I go somewhere alone and people there see me coming with somebody. Is it also called shadow people that accompany me?
That's a very good question. I don't know. I think everybody has their, some people call them guardian angels. Some of them call them their spirit guides. Maybe they have an attachment. There are some spirits that just don't have a lot of energy that really like your energy, and they will attach to you and they will follow you everywhere you go. Sometimes it could be spirit guides saying, I'm coming with you because I'm not sure what you're doing, but I want to make sure that I'm helping you go in the right direction.
Right.
You know, could be your guardian angel, like, girl, I don't know.
Yeah.
I better watch out. You know, it just depends. I don't know. I think everybody's different. I think everybody has some sort of something with them, you know, but what that is, I don't know. Because I feel different energies around me at times. Because I know I have one ear like, oh my gosh, don't think so. And this year's like, yeah, I think so, you know?
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
You know, just like with spirits, you go into a room and they tell you to leave, and you're depending on the energy. I'll be like, no, I think where I'm going to stay and hang out. Let's talk.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty good here. So yeah.
And there's sometimes I'll be like, yes, I will go ahead and leave, but I'm coming back. So you better correct your attitude because I'm coming back.
Yeah. So sorry, this is when I knew that this was going to step up. When I read the question, I instantly had the answer for her, specifically for her. Zhang, what you're feeling, what you're seeing when you walk to these places, especially when the people see you that you're out there by yourself, when you're alone, but you're in open areas, like when you walk through the squares and stuff like that, when you're in the shopping areas like that, they see someone with you, that's your dad. I can see him crystal clear. That's who walks with her when she's, especially in the outside areas, in the open areas. Like
my dad?
No, for a Zhang.
Oh, for Zhang. Okay, I was like, okay.
No, for Zhang, it's her dad.
Zhang. Okay.
So that's who's walking with the Zhang. She's, I know I've seen a Zhang's dad a couple of times.
Yeah, and that very well could be who her guardian angel, her spirit guide is.
Very well could be.
Or whatever her, you know, like, everybody has their different spirituality beliefs. Everybody has the beliefs on their higher power. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of people that have more than one higher power, depending on the day or depending on what your needs are at that moment.
Yeah. Yeah. But I just know that, like, when she goes to the open air market, so she goes out to, it's not necessarily when she's in buildings or anything else, but whenever she's just outside enjoying the outside, that's her dad.
That's her dad. Okay. Her dad.
So
awesome.
I know that we're not supposed to say stuff with 100% guarantee, but I can say with about 99% that's when you're walking in the open air market, you're outdoors, you're enjoying the outdoors, and it's something you like, that's your dad enjoying it with you. So
yeah, I mean, I wasn't going to say anything, but the first thing that popped in my head, like sometimes when people talk about that, you know, is it male or female? And I felt a masculine presence was the first thing I felt, but you know, my first instincts aren't always correct, but that's, you know, because I don't do very well. I mean, with remote work, you know, that's what I'm working on. Jamie is really good at the remote stuff.
See, and this is something that literally I didn't know. I never known it as anything different. I don't know that people don't know how to do this remote. For me, if I can do it, I can do it to anyone in the world. It's just, I don't know any different. You just saying it, this is what I'm working on as remote. I never understood that as being remote.
Yeah.
I've always, this is just something I thought that we were able to do. So,
like when my team, I just learned that. So, yeah, my team the other night went to the Monroe House down in Hartford City, which is, you know, a block and a half away of the Blackford County Jail.
Oh, nice.
It's awesome. When they were going live, I really was able to see and feel some of that energy, and I was able to help guide them. And what was really weird about that is that they were doing what they call like the Estes experiment.
Oh yeah, that's this experiment. Yep.
Yeah, and so it was so weird what I was seeing and feeling. As soon as I would say it, she would come on and say it off of that, and
Oh,
she couldn't hear
right,
anything of what's going on. And
right,
so it was so like it felt great, like, oh my gosh, I'm not crazy.
right. It's like an instant confirmation. Yep.
Yes,
Perfect.
and I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
So
So we do have a couple of jokesters, by the way, on our show always, William and Stuart. So William's like, every place has a bell plantation or bell house, heck, even a bell hotel. And he says, we have a bell plantation here where the Civil War Battle of Cedar Creek took
yes.
place. That's haunted. And Stuart says, yes, everywhere there, because that you never know for whom it tolls. Yes.
Yes.
Nice.
Well, a little history about the Bell Mansion. It was built by William and Clara Bell. And Clara Bell was the painter of this area, and she is the original founder of the Fort Wayne Arts in Fort Wayne.
Oh, nice.
So yeah.
Yeah, and it's this we go. So this is kind of rack. She says, "Yep, I love confirmation. Okay, without it, but I love when I get it." So yes. So when you're participating in that little Estes experiment, you were coming up with the same things they were. They couldn't hear or see. Perfect. So that's definitely a confirmation that happens, and it's so. I want to ask that question. I have my own opinions on this, obviously, because everyone does. You just got done talking about the history of the Bell Mansion and how Clara Bell was basically tied to the arts side of the house. Do you believe? I'm pretty sure I know this answer because it seems to be the same with everybody, but every once in a while I like to get different opinions. Do you believe that people with the artistic abilities, when they're in their work, when they're painting, when they're doing music, when they're writing, whenever they're doing whatever, they're more open to receive energy and to receive message or anything else, because that's kind of when they're completely open to their work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I believe so. That sounds like something that they have. Like, I think, yeah, I don't know how to answer that question.
So
I do believe that. I do believe that when you have like that connection with the spirit world,
so
there
for
is
you,
something else
so
out there. Yeah.
let's say for you, because you love the music, you love listening to music,
Yeah.
and when you're listening to it, do you feel like you can receive message easier, or that you feel more in contact with your spiritual side when you're listening to music than you do just
Right.
in the standard?
Actually, I connect better when it's quiet.
Okay.
I use music a lot for my guard.
Oh, okay.
Especially if I'm having had a rough day,
Mm-hmm.
or I know my energy is not in a good spot, I will listen to music as a distraction so I don't absorb anything, or I don't let anything take over on
Right.
me.
So I ask because Zhang is a beautiful pianist. She plays absolutely beautiful, and when she plays, spirit she draws them in with her music. They stand around her piano. The kids sit down and listen. All this wonderful stuff happens when she plays, and it's because she's at her most open when she's doing what she loves the most.
Right.
So, and that's what really draws them into her. She can sense they're there. She knows they're there. But she's asked me before, hey, what do you see? So I've told her what I've seen. And it's really when she plays is when she's at her greatest connection with them coming out and just sitting and just enjoying that time.
Right. Now, I have felt like I am not a musician at all. Mm-hmm. I have no musical talent, nothing like that, except for I can really feel the music. It's more than just hearing the words. I feel that energy. I feel that passion that that singer group had put together.
Right.
And so I can really get into a song, and I can dance. I'll dance to it. I'll be joyful. I'll cry,
Yeah.
whatever. But sometimes I can feel the energy sharing that with me. There has been times where that has happened, but I try and use more of pushing them away, saying, this is my space. This is my time. I don't, but when I want to connect with them, I usually keep things super. Oh, my bathroom just blinked and went off. um, so somebody's laughing at me. Okay, I think it's that little girl. Okay, because she'll sometimes dance around when I have music. So
Okay.
anyway, so I when I really want to connect with them, I'll have like a lot of the lights out. Everything will be quiet, and I'll just kind of meditate. And I don't have to say anything. I can just feel what they want to talk about, what they want to
Yeah.
say. And that's how I release my energy out. A lot of times when it's nice, like tonight, when I've got some things that I'm going to do tonight that I can't do tomorrow night for the new moon that I want to do, I will actually go outside and do it. Be nice and quiet, be out in the nature, sit in the grass,
Yep.
and do what I need to do. And I'm going to involve all of the elements, and I will open up communication, and I will release that, because there's so much right now negativity going on in the world. And I want to send off positivity. I heard a statement once, like in the last couple of days, that if anybody could hate for no reason, why can't we love for no reason?
Right. Yeah.
And that's like part of the message that I want to talk to my spirit guides about, that I want to open up and be like, let's spread some more love. People are very scared of telling other people, I love you.
Right.
There is like a difference in love, for a husband, wife, child, sister, brother.
Right.
Why can't we just say, I love you to somebody as a human being, as being another human being?
Yep.
So that's kind of like my message that I want to release. And yeah, this world is like crazy. It's like, I don't understand how people can treat humans the way they've been, that they treat
Right.
them. So,
Yeah, and that's a beautiful message. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic.
So.
Oh, sorry, I gotta post this up really quick. William, thank you for watching. Much appreciated. So you notice what he says here. Hey, brother, everyone got to go get ready for another battle tonight with something killing deer around my house. So William is one of those people I lean on as a mentor for my shamanic side. He's indigenous shaman, prior military like me, kind of ran in the same crowds I did. And so he deals a lot with the Native American side of stuff that happens. He's also a cryptid hunter and has a lot of knowledge. So I'm plugging him right now. So make sure you go out and follow William Nighthawk. Go check out his stuff.
Yeah,
fantastic.
the first thing that came to my head was Skinwalker.
And that's funny you say that, because he has actually helped people prepare for the ceremony where they've had to go up against the Skinwalker. So yes, that's stuff he does too. So that's stuff that he does. So earlier when we were talking the music side, Jamie's saying, I work with music. She does spirit work. And she says sound changes the vibration to bring it in for her. So yes. So, and then she also wanted to tell you that she is outside prepping her fire pit for the new moon.
Hey, that's what I've got my wood and stuff ready to go out there for mine. And yes. She already knows what kind of ceremony. I think we've talked about this, about what I'm doing. So, that I've needed to do.
Yep. So William, if you're still here, Stuart saying
Yes,
first and strength for
William.
tonight.
Good luck, William.
Yeah, that's going to be a battle. I kind of get a feeling I know what you're about to go up against. But Zhang does say, Zhang comes back and says she thinks music has tremendous energy towards spirits because often spirits are also present when she teaches her class in music school. They peek through the door like they are stunned. Yes, it's Zhang's. So Zhang's tie to music is so, I want to say it's so spiritual that whether she's the one playing it or teaching others how to do it, she always has that attachment with spirit regardless. Um, so wherever she goes, if music is involved, the spirit will be there with her.
Okay, so this is how I'm envisioning. This is like one of those flashes that I get.
Okay.
I vision it like Snow White, and how the nature was attracted to Snow White because of her beauty, and because of her natural innocence about her. So this is kind of like how I'm feeling this for her. She just has this natural talent, this natural beauty within this music, and these spirits, it's soothing to them, and they're naturally attracted to that, and so they love her because it makes them feel peaceful, it makes them feel at home, or that's kind of what I see it as.
That's an outstanding way to explain that, because it really, if you ever get the chance to watch, she actually posts some stuff out on Facebook when she plays, and if you ever go and watch her play,
I have to.
You'll watch some people who play and you can see that they're playing an instrument, or like they're playing the piano and they know the piece and anything else. But when she plays, you can tell that she actually feels what she's playing. Even if you're just watching her hands when she plays, because a lot of times she'll show the piano key and she'll show all the keys and she'll show her hands playing, but you won't see her really. But just in the movement and just in the way she does everything, you can sense that she's part of that actual movement that she's playing.
Right.
So
awesome.
Yeah, it's very cool to experience. So I got to ask, you said you work as a nurse in the labor unit, right? Is that what you said? Okay. So you're bringing new life into the world.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever experienced anything paranormal during that time frame? Because there are beliefs that sometimes when a spirit passes, the next one coming in is a replacement for that one, or something along those lines. Have you ever felt, dealt, seen, heard anything along those lines when a baby?
Yeah. Now, not in the way that you think. So I try to block a lot of that out and focus on my mom and what I need to do.
Okay.
But I have had spirit guides. My spirit guides give me an instinct of feeling sometimes on what I need to do, like something's going to happen, to prepare. And usually these instincts are right. And so there's times I'll be like, they'll tell me something and I'll be like, but everything looks fine. Like, I'm like, but I trust that and I pay attention. And usually it's just, and then all of a sudden it's just kind of like, okay, now I know what they're seeing.
Right.
Everybody thinks, oh, labor and delivery, you get to hold all these babies, it must be a happy environment. No, it's not that way like everybody thinks it is. We do have our moments. When we do have patients that are coming in because their baby has passed, or maybe they don't know their baby has passed yet. Right. And that's the most gut-wrenching things to have to go through with your patient, is when they come in and say, I've not felt my baby move for 2 days.
Right.
And that is one thing that I can hone on before I give her proof one way or the other. I have a feeling, I can feel that baby's spirit, if that baby's spirit is still present or not. And I'm not going to go into, the whole Roe
Right.
versus Wade thing. I'm not,
Nope.
getting into all of that.
I
But
prefer if you
it's
did.
like, huh?
I said I'd prefer if you
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, no.
I am definitely on a political site. So.
Just because of what I'm about to say has nothing to do with this. So I can feel that energy. I can feel that, baby spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And even when mama comes in, whether, we take care of moms no matter what. If they're over 20 weeks, they come to us. If they're less than 20 weeks, they stay in the OR in the emergency department because of viability. Sometimes
Right.
they have them up on our floor earlier. Every situation is totally different. However, I can feel that baby's energy. I don't care if this mama is 4, 5, 6 weeks along, 30, it doesn't matter. I can feel that energy.
Right.
And I know that from the time of that first heartbeat, to me, that's when I feel that that's when the baby's energy is present.
Right.
I'm not going to say soul because that's a totally different topic, and everybody has different opinions. And I'm just going to say energy.
Right.
So I can feel before I lay my hands on mama's belly, whether if baby energy is there or not.
Right.
So, but even in the room when everything is normal and they have their baby, the only times that I have felt anything unusual is I've had where moms that maybe their dad, mother, grandmother, brother, sister have passed very, very recent.
Mm-hmm.
Not like within the last 10 years, but
Right.
like within the last couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
I can feel that presence from that energy, from that loved one's passing,
Mm-hmm.
and it is so hard for me to not say, this person's here with you. I usually don't say anything unless they bring it up. I don't want to take away from that moment, that pivotal moment for them.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yep.
So that's about the only thing really that I do. I don't like to make it known. A lot of my coworkers kind of know what I do. They know I'm really into paranormal investigations, but I don't think they know completely what I can do.
Right.
Or what I do, I should say.
I'm that way. There's people that know I'm a paranormal investigator, but they don't know that I have abilities. They just know I do a paranormal investigation with people. Yeah. So it's funny because Jamie's saying labor and delivery nurses delivered Lily. She did not wait for the doctor. She popped out. Thank God for the fabulous nurses. And my wife followed up with, "Yep, I basically came out that fast too." Edwin says the doctor walked in just in time for him to catch me. So
I've had to catch a few in the 18 years I've been doing this. So
yeah, I was the exact opposite. I am actually one of a twin, and I waited forever. We were 15 days late, and I kicked my sister out first, so I could hang out in there for a while and have all the room to myself. Now that she's gone, yep, get out. This is my room now. But yeah, so we were very stubborn. I was very stubborn. So doctor had no problem finding me. So
yeah, it's every delivery, people can't even imagine. Like, there's only 2 ways these babies are going to come out, and after over 18 years, no one delivery is the same.
Right.
Now, there has been times I've delivered delivered all of mom's kids, 2 or 3 kids I've had. Like, there was this one that I know for a fact I delivered to. Didn't get to her last one. She was upset because I was on vacation and I was not allowed to take a vacation, I guess. And
yeah.
I've delivered some.
Tell her she should have waited.
I know, right? Now, I have not delivered anybody yet that I delivered when they were a baby.
Right.
I think if that does happen, and if it has, I don't ever want to know, because I think I'm going to be done if that happens. I'll be like, I delivered you. Oh, no,
Right.
too much. I can't do that. So there's been some grandmas that came in and say, hey, you delivered my youngest. How old? No, I don't want to know how old your youngest is.
You're like,
If your one here is having a baby.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, I don't want to know this, but thanks.
Yeah.
So I will let you know that the individual who was hanging out above your shoulder, he left a while ago.
I have not felt him for a while. I have not felt him since we really started talking about my niece's friend that has passed.
Yeah, he basically.
She has a very strong energy. She was always very energetic, very strong personality, outgoing personality. So it doesn't surprise me that I think he left when she made her presence known.
Yeah, well, he basically did the all right, we're good, you're good, we're safe. And so he just kind of like wandered. He's like, all right, appreciate it, thanks. So I mean, it was funny. I had to do my best not to wave goodbye to him, because he actually did that. He actually did the and you were talking, I didn't want to go, and people go, what the hell are you waving at? But yeah,
I mean, maybe you can tell. I don't know who he is. I have no idea who he is. I don't know if it's a family member. I don't know if it's just somebody that was on the property and just kind of liked me and hang out and thought he needed to protect me because I'm in the house. I don't have anybody else that lives with me. I have no idea.
I deal with my friend's daughter. That's exactly why the guy showed up at her house, is because he used to live on the land way back when it was something else. But he's familiar with the land, and her house is very comforting because it's very calming and everything else. So that's why he hangs out there. No relation at all. But
that's what I felt.
He looks over her just as a protector.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's funny because he's a scared rabbit, but he thinks he's protecting her. So he kind of tried to bow up on me when I walked in, and then I realized who he was, and then he was like, "Yeah, in all reality, I'm protecting her, but if shit hits the fan, I'm the first one out the door."
Yeah, and I have a cat, and so she will also sense, when he's present, because she'll kind of like. He doesn't come down here too often. He basically stays upstairs more than anything.
Yeah.
But he'll come downstairs if he senses that something else is going on. And my cat will kind of look up the stairs, and she would almost have that look like, oh, it's you. And then she'll walk away. Anything else, she just kind of like will intensely like look at, like, I don't recognize you,
Right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, I think we should probably wrap it. It's been about an hour and a half. Our time kind of flew right by. I did not realize that we were talking for an hour and a half already. But I thank you very much for coming on. So before we go,
thank you for having me.
I want to throw this back out there so people can go out and find you guys again. So remember, she's part of 2 teams, not 1, but 2. TSPI, Truth Seekers Paranormal Investigations, Facebook.com/TSPI, Truth Seekers Paranormal Investigations. Again, people, I know these sites work. I looked at them myself. I'm not just making it up as I go along. Well, I do the conversations, but this kind of stuff I don't. And then she's also part of the Ghosthunter Society of Fort Wayne, which is Facebook.com/group/Ghosthunter Society of Fort Wayne. All is one big, long, wonderful word.
Yep.
So go out there and check those out. I really much appreciate you being on. I have comments coming in, but I have to go back and see that. So as Yang's saying, thanks for a great show.
Oh, well, thank you for being here, and thank you for listening.
Jamie's saying awesome. So
thanks, Jamie. Now I can't wait for yours.
Right? Yeah, that's going to be phenomenal. And Zhang's saying you were awesome. So thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
Nicole
thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a great night. So Stuart's saying,
you too. Thank you.
I know what he means. He said, thank you, Amy. Loved it. But, sometimes text gets fast.
Thank you.
When the eyes sit right next to each other, that happens a lot. But yes, thank you very much, Joe. Loves a job. Great job. But again, thank you for coming on. Remember, Jamie is in 2 weeks. Next week, I will not be doing a show because it is 4th of July weekend and 4th of July, as a matter of fact. Next weekend, I would be taking off anyways because it is mine and Nikki's anniversary. So we will be hanging out with family and friends and everything else. So I will be off.
Yeah. So the night Jamie goes live, what will be kind of weird is that I think that's the weekend we'll be at Randolph Asylum.
That's the 11th. So
yes.
she goes live. She's on here the 11th. So
yes. So I will be on. If I'm still at Randolph, I will come on and I will watch.
Yeah. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate that. For us, it's not
right.
very much. It's 6 years, so that's where we are. If you want to, you can. I can throw you in the back room if you want to chat afterwards, and if you have time. So I'll just throw you in the back room, and I'll say goodnight to everybody, and I'll be right back out to talk to you when the show's done. So hang out for a couple.
Very good. Okay.
And I'll see you in a couple minutes.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks. All right, everyone. That's the show. Thank you very much, as always, for coming on here to watch. Let me get rid of that one really quick. I really appreciate you guys. Wow, slower in English. I really appreciate you guys being here as much as you are. I love growing this family that we have. I really consider us a family because we all get along and interact and help each other so well when we're doing when we just talk as an audience. It's fantastic, and I love that. Thank you very much, Stuart. That is very appreciated. 6 years for us. As far as being married, a little longer than that. As far as being together, we actually got to lever. I'm even one of those guys that know exactly. Our first date was 12/11/10. Easy for me to remember because the dates run together, but pretty impressive that I actually know that being a guy. Right here, Facebook.com, stuff I never learned from a schoolbook.com. Twitch, I'm actually on Twitch now, www.twitch.tv/stuff I never learned. YouTube, you can check that out, or you can just go out to YouTube and type in stuff I never learned from the school book. All my stuff will pop up. You can find me out there as well, rather than trying to type in all these wonderful jumbled letters and numbers. You can also check us out. I am part of a paranormal investigation team. Like I said, here we are right here, Dimensional Encounters Paranormal. On Facebook, we are facebook.com/Dimensional Encounters. Instagram.com/Dimensional Encounters. And then YouTube, if you want to find us, just type in Dimensional Encounters Paranormal, and our stuff will pop up there too, instead of trying to type in that whole long line there. You can check out our stuff. We actually have investigations coming up in the middle of July, so we'll be going live then as well. But again, next week, I am not here. I will actually post an advertisement or just a quick note saying we're not going to be here next week because of 4th of July. But in 2 weeks, Jamie Whitaker will be on. She's the one that's already been in here talking quite a bit, and I really appreciate her too because she has fantastic comments and questions, just as all the rest of you do. But feel free to come and watch her hang out with her. Sorry, mix that word up, harass and hang. You know, that kind of happens sometimes. Sorry, Jamie. But yeah, you know it was for real. But I appreciate this very much, Joe. I look forward to being on the show. You're a really great, really fun host. I do my best. Really, all I do is I just introduce the people and let them talk, and then just let you guys talk. I'm just here to push the buttons and say hi and bye. Really is how it works out. I'm just here because of the beard and the mohawk. But again, I will send out notification that Jamie will be on. Look for her advertisement. Look for her commercial. And hopefully I will see everybody back on the 11th. For people that are still time challenged, that means 7 p.m. Central, 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain Time, 5 Pacific. Joe, you are 5 hours behind, I believe. So for 7 mine should be 2 o'clock your time, I think, for the Hawaii time. Ajang knows that she's 11 hours ahead of me. Every once in a while I get people from Australia that watch, depending where they're at, but the ones that watch me are actually 17 hours ahead. Yeah, I have to remember all these people. Come on, give me a break. But anyways, have a great night. Much love. I am so happy you're all here. I look forward to seeing you all in 2 weeks. Have a great night. Much love.